Hello and welcome back to my channel. I've got the week's astrology forecast for you, as well as detailed horoscopes for all 12 signs. I'm Erin, I'm Queen Bee Tarot, and I'm so glad that you guys are here. We're just coming out of last week's really fuzzy Piscean energy. There's been a planetary party in Pisces for the last little while, and last week probably for everybody held kind of a mixed bag. There was a combination of feeling heavy, feeling dreamy, feeling foggy, maybe having some realizations, maybe having some downloads, maybe having moments of fleeting depression. Kind of a, like I said, mixed bag of a week. But as the week came to a close, there was a sense of things kind of picking up the pace a little bit. And so this sense of quickening is going to continue into this week. So this week's astrology is for Sunday, March 3rd to Saturday, March 9th. And one of the biggest shifts is that by the end of the week, Mercury, the messenger that represents our headspace and our communication, is going to be moving out of Pisces and into Aries. So moving out of a flowing water sign into a very focused fire sign. So there's going to be a sense of increasing tempo throughout the week. On Sunday, March 3rd, Venus forms a square to Uranus, which brings a desire for newness or spontaneity into our relationships and into our social connections. There's a possibility it might extend into some sort of brainstorming session on Sunday for you, where you might be thinking, okay, how can I make money in a different way? How can I make myself more comfortable? How can I increase my access to resources? Because Venus represents not just relationships to people, but also relationships to our finances and our level of comfort and trust. So there's definitely an energy as we start the week on Sunday of, if anything feels old or boring or tired, we're going to be like, let's switch it up. Let's do things differently. So you might actually have a burst of a desire to be social starting on Sunday. And then that quickening and desire to kind of switch things up is going to continue into Monday, because Monday Mercury forms a sextile to Uranus. So again, anytime a planet kind of interacts with Uranus, there's a desire to switch things up, do things differently, in whatever aspect it comes through for you. So it might be a desire to do something different with your day, or with your hair, or with your week schedule as you're thinking about what's to come. So Mercury sextile Uranus also brings an energy of quickening headspace, a sense that we want to brainstorm, we want to be creative, we want to write down all of our thoughts. We have our headspace moving like a million miles an hour. So again, everybody experiences these energies a little bit differently. Sometimes that sense of quickening in the headspace can be really overwhelming. And other times it can feel like a big boost of inspiration and motivation. So high energy to start the week. Really cool, actually. By the end of Monday, moving into Tuesday, the moon moves out of Sagittarius, which is like go, 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 into Capricorn, which is very serious and structured and focused. So kind of in the middle of the week, there is going to be a little bit of a dip as far as maybe your personal energy. But again, you're going to be able to kind of translate the fire of the beginning of the week into consistent applied effort as the week progresses. So a sense that okay, whatever ideas or inspiration comes through, you're going to be able to put it into practice. You're going to be able to follow that to-do list or whatever it is that you create as the week moves on. So it is going to be a very productive and I wanted to say momentous, but momentous means grand. I was looking for a word like momentum. A week of energetic momentum for sure. Thursday, the moon moves into Aquarius, and as it moves into Aquarius, Mercury starts to reach the end of Pisces. And I've mentioned before, anytime a planet reaches the very end degrees of a sign, there's a sense of quickening or wanting to hurry up and complete something or wrap up the energetic experience of whatever that zodiac sign was. So Mercury, representing how we think and how we communicate, as it moves to the very last degrees of Pisces, There's going to be a sense that we want to somehow kind of lock into whatever inspiration or intuition, or maybe even emotional healing moments that you've had over the last little while with Mercury moving through Pisces. You might have a sense as the week wraps up that you want to maybe go have a session with your counselor, or maybe do some journaling or some painting or something like that to kind of lock in whatever lessons you learned or realizations you had. But on Friday, Mercury is going to be in the exact same spot as Neptune. Neptune is the planetary ruler of Pisces. So there's all of a sudden in this week of focus, on Friday, there's going to be a sense of kind of feeling foggy. You might experience it as a dreamy, romantic, kind of like, ooh, rose-colored glasses energy. Or you might have a sense that whatever momentum you had throughout the week, all of a sudden Friday, you're like, I'm done. I got nothing left. So Friday is going to be kind of a mixed bag, really kind of bringing back that Pisces energy that we had last week. So whatever experiences you had last week, they're going to kind of be echoed on Friday. So Friday is not a day to think clearly. It's going to be a day where we miss important emails, or maybe we send a message and it's just not as clear as we thought it was. Friday is a day where there's a really high probability of miscommunication, misunderstandings, or somehow something missing the mark. So Friday is going to be kind of foggy. And the other thing about Friday is that the moon is going to be void, of course. So again, not a good idea to make any major decisions or commitments on Friday, because you might be in this really idealistic, yeah, it's all good kind of place, which is not a good place to be when you're trying to do something official or specific. So don't sign any contracts, or if you absolutely have to do something official and like detail oriented on Friday, make sure you ask for somebody else's opinion. Like, hey, can you edit this email before I send it? Or something along those lines. Hey, can you take a look at this contract before I sign it? Friday, you're going to want some help to reach a level of clarity if you have to be clear. But Friday, with Mercury joining Neptune, there's also a sense that your intuition is going to be really, really strong. So if you need to meditate, if you need to do anything on a spiritual or intuitive place, Monday's going to be amazing for that. Dream work, spell work, anything along those lines. Saturday, Mercury moves into Aries. So Mercury the messenger is going to move into Aries, which is like the laser beam of fire signs. It's associated with Mars and just kind of like, rawr, let's go. So it's kind of funny. Like, I don't know if you've ever had one of those moments. There's a moment a while back where one of my kids was really tired after school and they fell asleep and had a nap, and they woke up at 8 p.m. and came rushing out of their bedroom and was like, Mom, why didn't you wake me up for school? So they were so disoriented that they saw it was 8 o'clock on their phone or whatever and thought it meant 8 a.m. and it was 8 p.m. That's the kind of like, what's going on kind of vibe of Friday, Saturday, because there's going to be a sense of us all of a sudden coming to clarity or coming to consciousness, but being a little bit disoriented and maybe even discombobulated. So you might feel like a fish out of water Friday, Saturday. But the thing that I really wanted to bring to everybody's attention is that on Saturday, Mars will form a square, which is a 90-degree angle to Uranus. The planet I was talking about is like doing things differently or change or transformation. When Mars, which represents action and ego, makes a square to Uranus, which is change and sometimes upheaval, there's a sense that it's actually a really volatile energy. We might rebel against authority. We might be really just, what's the word? Like spicy or cheeky. With Mars squaring Uranus on Saturday, there's definitely a sense that we will be pushing back. It's a great day if you have to. It's a great day to fight for your rights. It's a great day to go to a protest or something like that. But there's also going to be a really high probability of violence, clashes, disagreements, fights, like a lot of fire, especially if we feel like we are being controlled or held back. Mars square Uranus is an energy of rebellion, it's surprises, it's restlessness, but it's also impulsiveness in a sense that we might just like explode if given the opportunity. So Friday, Saturday, definitely a really kind of mixed bag of foggy, discombobulated, disoriented, but also feisty energy. So it'll be an interesting week for sure, but it's going to be a great week to get some things done, especially if you've been feeling really like foggy or lethargic, like unmotivated. If the Piscean energy has made you feel just kind of like lost in space, you're going to really enjoy the clarity and the focus that comes with this week. So this is the chart that we're looking at. Like I was saying, we have a really focused cluster of planets, mostly in Pisces, but they're starting to move into Aries. So focus is definitely the word, but sometimes focus is almost an experience of too much of something. It could be too much responsibilities or too much fire in your belly that you don't know how to get it out. So just be prepared for that. So my horoscopes are written for sun signs and rising signs. Definitely look at your rising sign or watch your rising sign first if you know it. If you don't know what your rising sign is, that's totally fine. Just watch your sun sign. And if you know both, watch both for extra inspiration. So Aries, sun and rising. When Mercury joins Neptune, there's going to be heightened intuition and also a sense that we're a wee bit foggy and not necessarily clear. That's going to be happening in your 12th house of dreams, which is actually where Neptune is at home. So especially for you guys, Aries, sun and rising, your dreams are going to be potent. They might be full of predictions or information, or maybe you might have an experience in your dream space of being able to sort out or solve something that's happening in your waking life. So as much as you can, please, I know it's hard, especially if you're a parent or you're working all the time, but as much as you can, see if you can prioritize sleep this week. Especially towards the end of the week, you're going to want to have a notepad by your bed, write down any dreams, no matter how wacky or weird. And then when Mercury moves into Aries, you're going to have a sense of like, whoom, coming back into your body with like focus and passion and motivation. You're really going to get the most out of the energy this week. There's going to be a sense of being able to take your dreams or your ideas and just implement them into reality with far less resistance than you usually experience. There is going to be a sense that you're still having to kind of push against the current or fight against the status quo, but there's an energy this week of you being able to bring some sort of dream or ideal into reality. So if it means expressing yourself, if it means speaking up in a meeting or in a personal situation, your power this week is going to be in your voice and in your action. If you can see it, you can be it. And if you notice something, say something. That's the kind of vibe for you guys this week. You're going to be pushing to make creative change or manifest something that is really, really meaningful for you. And this week you're going to find the power, you're going to find the opportunity, and things are really going to flow. So if you've been waiting for the right moment to do something that's really important, this would be a great week for you to put it into play. The only thing that you have to be mindful of is that you're not going to have much of a filter this week. If you have to give a big presentation or if you have to have a delicate or difficult conversation with someone, you might want to get a piece of paper and like write down your talking points so that you have some sort of script to return to if your emotions get the best of you. You might get just carried away with a train of thought, or you might say something without really meaning to, or you might spill the beans about something important. So just keep in mind you're not going to have much of a filter this week, so plan for that. But otherwise, it's an amazing week for you to get some serious, awesome stuff done. So good luck. Taurus, sun and rising. The When Mercury joins Neptune this week, there's a heightened energy of intuitive downloads, but also a sense that you might not be thinking very clearly or realistically. And that's going to be happening in your 11th house, bringing creative inspiration. You might be really inspired this week to pick up a musical instrument or come back to some sort of artistic creative craft that you do, and maybe it's been on the wayside for a while, but you're going to be like, ooh, I'm inspired to draw, or I'm inspired to write or play music or something like that. And what's going to happen is that when Mercury moves into Aries, it's going to move from your 11th house to 12th house. So it almost feels like a brief window of inspiration. And then you're going to be like, and it's over. So if you do have moments and bursts of creative inspiration, make the most of it while it's there, because it could very quickly fade into the background and be something that you almost immediately forget about. So if you have like $1 million idea, if you have a creative inspired like moment, write it down before you forget it, because there's a very high likelihood that by the end of the week you're either going to forget about it or run out of inspiration or motivation. Now there's also a chance this week that when Mercury moves into Aries at the end of the week, it's possible that the reason you become distracted or unmotivated is that there's some sort of secret or surprise that could be revealed to you. Somebody could let something out of the bag, you could hear a piece of juicy gossip, or it could be like maybe in the beginning of the week you clean your house, and as you're doing decluttering or something like that, you discover something that's been missing for ages and you're like, oh my God. And immediately you forget everything else that you were doing because you're like, look at this awesome thing. I forgot about it. I'm so excited to find it. So there is an energy of discovery this week. And it could be discovering talents. It could be discovering a secret or a surprise. It might be a challenge for you with Mars square Uranus towards the end of the week. It might be a challenge for you to really keep on task, to keep up whatever schedule that you promised to, or keep up with some sort of exercise routine that you were like, at the beginning of the week, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then by the end of the week, you're like, I'd rather not. So whatever you can do to possibly utilize the high energy you're going to have at the beginning of the week, it's going to be far more productive for you. And by the end of the week, it's going to be a sense that you're either distracted or surprised or just completely lose motivation. So plan your time wisely and plan accordingly to a dip in energy at the end of the week. Gemini, Sun and Rising. When Mercury joins Neptune this week, it's going to happen in your 10th house. And you might either realize or vocalize that some sort of dream, some sort of ideal that you've always wanted is either manifesting for you or has manifested and is now a part of your reality. There's going to be a sense that you realize this week that you are aligned with your highest path. That you kind of have these moments of coming out of the fog and being like, whoa, my dreams are coming true. This is the ideal career, or this is the ideal relationship, or I'm living my best life. So somehow, some way, there's going to be a sense of like having made it, or having created the conditions in which you are sure that your dream is going to come true, or you're sure that you're on the right path. And then when Mercury moves into Aries at the end of the week, there's going to be inspiration, action. You might be thinking like, okay, how can I take this to the next level? Or this is awesome. Now what? You might be inspired to celebrate whatever achievement it is that you're either completing or approaching. And with Mars square Uranus at the end of the week, it almost feels like you're going to be retraining yourself to have healthier subconscious dialogue. So if you're the kind of person that has an internal dialogue, you might be noticing a really important shift happening within your conscious and subconscious, where you're no longer saying yucky things to yourself, or you're starting to make progress with being your own cheerleader. There's going to be a sense that you finally have tangible reasons in front of you to validate for yourself that you are making healthy choices or that you are doing the right thing. And you might be inspired to kind of celebrate whatever you have achieved as far as reaching your ideals, and also say, okay, I feel brave enough to take on my next challenge or my next shadow work or something like that. So make sure to give yourself a pat on the back, because it's really important, especially when life feels like a constant uphill battle. It's really important to take those moments and be like, F yeah, I made it, or F yeah, I feel really good about where I'm at. Celebrate the small stuff, no matter how small, it helps you keep going. So good job, you guys. Cancer, Sun and Rising. When Mercury joins Neptune in Pisces, it's going to be forming a really, really helpful and supportive angle to your sign. A sense that you're able to rejuvenate your hope, or rejuvenate some sort of missing inspiration or dream that maybe just felt really heavy and really just weighed down by reality lately. So positive vibes, especially to start the week. Your imagination is going to be going strong, your inspiration. Maybe you'll feel more motivated to reach out to people or be creative. And then when Mercury moves into Aries, there might be a sense of like, okay, I'm going to take this new hope, or I'm going to take this new inner peace that I'm experiencing, and maybe go in a new direction or walk a new path. So you are in this constant swimming experience of swimming through the seas of life. And so what you're finding out is that there are little ways that you can almost get on a surfboard and ride these waves of change. And whether it's a matter of rediscovering trust in spirit or trust in the universe, or feeling like you can trust yourself more, there's an energy of feeling more in control, or at least behind the steering wheel in some way of your life. And as Mars squares Uranus at the end of the week, it's activating your 8th house. So it's like you want to take action when it comes to setting up new healthy habits, or new ways in which you fill your own cup, or new ways in which you interact with the community, that help you feel safe, that help you feel supported, and that help you feel like you're walking your highest path. You might be going through realizations that the people who used to really bug you are no longer in your life. Or maybe you cleared out your social media and now you're like, awesome, I have way less friends on my friend list, but when I post stuff, I'm not worried about people saying stupid things. So whatever ways in which you are tightening your healthy boundaries in your life, it's starting to pay off. And maybe there's less chatter inside of your head. Maybe you're noticing that maybe with the increased sunlight, there's a little bit less depression or less anxiety. Whatever it is that's kind of like putting a little pep in your step these days, definitely maybe cement it. One of the things that I like to do when I'm in a really good place is take a stone and just fill it with that beautiful, beautiful energy. And then that way later down the road, if I feel like garbage, I can be like, oh, let's pick up my happy stone. And then I hold it and then I feel the happiness. So whatever ways in which you might be able to bank positive energy, inner peace, or a sense of hope, that's kind of what's coming through for you guys. It might be journaling it might be charging a special stone, or having some sort of way in which you mark it for yourself. It could be a painting, it could be a tattoo, but you're definitely behind the steering wheel, and there's a growing sense of confidence, purpose, or direction for you. So awesome stuff. Leo, Sun and Rising. When Mercury joins Neptune this week in Pisces, it's going to be in your 8th house. So there's a huge highlight on intuitive information. There's a huge highlight on either seeing the bigger picture or understanding some sort of karmic chapter that you've been experiencing. But it's that sense of understanding that we tend to achieve at the end of something that used to confuse us or drive us crazy. So you're reaching a place of completion. you're kind of sorting out, okay, I learned this, I grew from this, now I want to apply that in this way moving forwards. But at the same time, there's almost an element of mystery. But it's a mystery that you are happy to try and solve. Maybe something's been really weighing you down, but now that you're kind of reaching a level of either conclusion or resolution with it, you're like, okay, I can look at this differently. I can see myself differently. When Mercury moves into Aries, it's going to be less of a lost in space for you vibe. When it moves into Aries, it's a fire sign just like you. So there's going to be a sense that your headspace is finally clicking together the way it should. You might have had a really hard time stringing together thoughts over the last couple of weeks. Maybe things just felt really weird or dreamy or confusing, but by the end of the week, you're gonna have a sense of like, boom, okay, I can think clearly, I can speak clearly, I can formulate thoughts and sentences, and I'm back kind of vibe. When Mars forms a square to Uranus at the end of the week, it's going to be activating your 7th and 10th houses. So it's almost like you're going to have this little pep in your step that's like, okay, cool, I'm going to approach my relationships differently. I'm going to hold space for myself, so I'm not expecting other people to meet my needs. Or there's going to be a sense that you feel more inspired to take action within your relationships that's going to help you feel healthy and balanced and good long term. So whatever it is that you're doing differently, however you are starting to experience more confidence or more clarity, expect that to continue and expect your fire to return by the end of the week. So it's going to be really good as far as motivating yourself to, like, especially if you've been dealing, for example, with like relationship stuff or whatever, when you come out of the fog, it's going to be like, oh my God, what have I been doing with my time? I want plans, I want adventure, I want to like move forwards out of this, right? So definitely completion and closure, but make sure that you learn the lesson so that it doesn't get repeated again, whatever that means for you. Virgo, sun and rising. When Mercury joins Neptune kind of earlier in the week, there's going to be a sense that you feel either really foggy or you have rose-colored glasses when it comes to your relationships. So maybe you're going to be feeling as though communication isn't very clear between yourself and someone else. Or maybe somebody's going to be talking to you and you're going to be like, wow, I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. You might just feel like really confused or really like, what was that? When it comes to your interactions with other people this week. Where you feel like you're being clear, maybe other people don't understand you, or it could be that other people think they're being clear and you just have no idea what they're talking about. But expect misunderstandings this week when it comes to relationships. It could be business ones or personal ones. And please, when in doubt, ask for clarification. It's amazing to say, okay, it sounds like you're saying this. Am I correct? I just want to make sure I understand before we proceed, or whatever it is. Ask for clarification. It's better to be sure than to be sorry. Now, when Mercury moves into Aries, there's going to be a sense of taking action, but not necessarily having clear direction. Again, there's motivation, there's fire, there's movement, but your 8th house, where Mercury is going to move into, highlights the power of word, and you are urged to be really, really careful about how you phrase things and the tone that you use. Sometimes we will say something with a slight bit of sass or cheekiness just because we're like irritated. But when the other person takes it wrong or like takes it right and is bothered by it, we're like, what? You got to take full responsibility for how you phrase things, how you communicate, and whether or not your fire is sensible, like able to be sensed through your words and through your communication. And you may not even mean to be sassy or cheeky or anything like that, but just know that that's how you're going to be perceived. So if you experience weird gaps in communication in the beginning of the week, you might find that by the end of the week, you're like, WTF, and just kind of like irritated and bothered. But just make sure that you have healthy coping mechanisms so that your irritation doesn't come through in your communications. You're going to have to keep yourself in check when it comes to choosing your words wisely and being really mindful of the energy that you bring to situations. Now, there's going to be a sense of, with Mars square Uranus at the end of the week, activating your 6th house of work and daily routines and your 9th house of expansion, there's going to be a sense that either your schedule is too full or not full enough. You're going to feel as though you are not reaching the goals that you want to, and you are restricted in some way that feels out of your control. So again, if we have too much work, we could be moaning, oh my God, I have too much work. I just don't have enough time in the day. I'm not getting anything done. Or what you could experience is kind of the flip side of that, which is, oh my God, I don't have any work. I am limited because I don't have money. I don't have resources. So there's going to be a sense of your day-to-day experiences this week being extremely challenging, maybe feeling as though certain days are a write-off, or certain experiences just make you completely shake your head and go, what is going on this week? So just prepare for that. Pack extra patience with your lunch, whatever the case may be for you, to help you kind of get through frustrating situations. Again, just take a deep breath, and this too shall pass. But please keep in mind that your interactions and the energy that comes through in your interactions is going to be highlighted in some way that you may feel as though people are making a big deal out of nothing, but really there is something in what you're doing that people are noticing and responding to. So take responsibility and just prepare for kerfuffles this week. Libra, sun and rising. When Mercury joins Neptune this week in Pisces, it's going to be in your 6th house. The 6th house is associated with daily routines, but also, our physical health and our mental health. You may feel indulgent this week. You may just completely binge on sweets, or feel inspired to drink on a Monday or a Tuesday, whether it's escapism or indulgence, or maybe a desire for luxury. It all comes down to not wanting to follow the rules. So there's a sense that you want freedom and you want fluidity in your day-to-day life, but if you don't have it, you're going to feel like you have to take it or to steal it. So if you can, make sure that you have as much time as possible this week to have breaks in between, breaks at work, or breaks in between big events that are going to take your energy away. There's going to be a sense this week that you want to reclaim what you feel is your rightful relationship with time. And if people try and take too much of your time this week, you're going to feel really, really bothered by it. When Mercury moves into Aries, that's going to be in your 7th house. So there's going to be a sense that other people are just off the wall this week. Whether it's other people saying really weird stuff or really off the cuff stuff, prepare to be surprised by what comes out of other people's mouths this week. And so because there's going to be a sense that it's other people that are acting really strange and you're just in this kind of dreamy place, there's going to be a sense for you that you're going to want to create as many boundaries and personal space as you possibly can. So like I said, prepare for other people to say really weird or really surprising things. You're a Libra, so I anticipate you'll just be like, instead of necessarily throwing it back at them. But sometimes when we're short on patience, we can throw stuff back at people. So just be really careful not to engage in a back and forth. You're going to find that people are really testy, especially towards the end of the week, and you don't even bother, right? At the end of the week, the other thing that's going to happen at the same time as Mercury moves into Aries and stuff gets weird is Mars is going to form a square with Uranus. So there's going to be a sense of you feeling either rebellious or restless. And it's going to be activating your 5th and your 8th houses. So what that means, again, like I was saying, is that you're going to feel as though people are sucking the life out of you, or maybe you feel as though people are asking too much of you. It could be a sense that people are demanding, people are impatient, whatever it is. And so the way you're going to experience this feeling of rebellion or restlessness is to shut down your schedule, or refuse to do overtime, or put your phone on do not disturb and not call people. You're going to push back when it comes to your right to feel happy, to have time to play and relax, and your right to have a say in how much energy you give away. So this is definitely a week for you to think ahead and think, okay, is my schedule too full? Because if your schedule is too full, you're going to just run out of patience towards the end of the week. And another thing to do, especially if you're self-employed, is limit how much people can access you. Or even if you're working in a regular job like for an employer, again, limiting how much people can access you, not answering emails in your off time, turning off your phone, like I said, making it clear you're not doing overtime, whatever it is. You're going to be very very selfish about your energy, but it's going to be in a healthy way. So it's okay to be selfish with your energy sometimes. Don't worry about that. I hope you have a good week. Scorpio, sun and rising. When Mercury joins Neptune this week, it's going to be in Pisces. Pisces is a water sign just like you, and it's going to be activating your 5th house. So it could be a week that you're like really inspired to dive into fantasy or sci-fi or role play or something just like super fun, busting out the dress up box. You know, like whatever it is, you're going to feel really silly, but there's an energy of fantasy. And fantasy is fun, you know, especially if we're in a really boring meeting or we're stuck in traffic. Fantasy can help the time pass really, really fast. We can imagine all these fun things happening inside of our heads, or we can observe the people around us and like, you know, guess what they're thinking, or imagine the lifestyle that they live. Your imagination is going to be running like mad this week. It's going to be awesome if you're an artist or a creator of any type. It's going to be an amazing week to channel your creativity, but also to feel really, really in tune with your intuition. Your intuition is going to be really, really strong this week. When Mercury moves into Aries at the end of the week, it's going to move from your 5th house to your 6th house. So there's going to be a sense that almost like playtime is over. If you have the opportunity in the beginning of the week to be silly, to play, to have a Muppet party with your friends, take those opportunities, because by the end of the week, there's going to be a sense of, okay, it's back to business, back to the grind. And that sense of feeling excited about what you're doing might go out the window. There is going to be a sense, though, by the end of the week that your schedule is going to fill up. So that would really fit. If the beginning of the week your schedule is not too full, awesome. Have fun with that. Play. Be creative. When Mercury moves into your 6th house at the end of the week, your mind is going to be on work. Your mind is going to be on daily routines, and there's going to be an uptick in communication when it comes to your work life or your day-to-day life. So gigs coming in, requests for your presence, lots of emails, like prepare for work to take all of your attention and energy by the end of the week, and then moving into the next 2 weeks as well. So great news if you've been short on work, because things are definitely going to pick up over the next couple of weeks. When Mars squares Uranus at the end of the week on Saturday, it's going to activate your 4th and your 7th houses. So you're going to want to take action when it comes to your home space. You might be rearranging, you might be thinking about moving, or you might want to have activity in your home. You might want to invite people over or have some sort of a gathering. But you're going to find that there's some sort of change or lackluster response in the people that you're trying to connect with. So like if you have a party, for example, planned for Saturday, prepare for guests to not come. Prepare for people to cancel at the last minute, or everybody comes down with the flu, or so if you have something social or if you have something personal planned for Saturday, have some sort of a backup plan just in case. Prepare to be surprised. Prepare for plans to go sideways or some sort of monkey wrench to be thrown in your plans. So yeah, light and fun at the beginning of the week, and then lots and lots and lots of busy stuff towards the end of the week. So good luck this week, you guys. Sagittarius, sun and rising. When Mercury joins Neptune this week in the sign of Pisces, it's going to be in your 4th house. So for you, it's going to be experienced as either literal peace inside of your home or inner peace inside of your heart. You might be feeling dreamy and soft and inspired. You might want to light a bunch of candles and like decorate things really pretty. Or you might be in a place where you're like, man, I just feel really good about myself, about life. So prepare to feel really, really good this week. Inner peace, a sense of calm. And then when Mercury moves into Aries at the end of the week, your creativity is going to get a boost. You might have been feeling either sleepy or dreamy or lethargic while Mercury is moving through Pisces, the fishies. But when Mercury moves into Aries, that's another fire sign just like you. So your creativity is going to get a boost. You're going to be inspired. You're going to be motivated. You're going to be like, yeah, I want to do all 20 of those projects that I had on my to-do list. So lots of focus, lots of inspiration. And your spirit is going to get a boost of like feeling lighthearted or like a little skip in your step kind of feeling. Now, at the end of the week, at the same time, Mercury moves into Aries and you're getting this fiery boost, Mars is going to form a square to Uranus, activating your 3rd and your 6th houses. So you're going to want to communicate. You're going to want to have social connections. You're going to want to like do stuff now that you got your mojo back. But you're going to find that either you come down with something like your physical health takes a little bit of a dip, or there's going to be some sort of unexpected change or shift in something that's happening either for one particular day or a day-to-day thing. So Mars is action in the 3rd house of communication and connecting socially, forming a challenging angle with Uranus, which is change and upheaval and unpredictability in the 6th house. So the 6th house is day-to-day life or your physical health. So something's going to throw a wrench in your plans. You're going to be like, yeah, I want to do all the things. And then like, boom, all of a sudden you're tired, or boom, all of a sudden you're sick. So just plan for potentially, yeah, it feels like almost like a roller coaster. Like the beginning of the week, you're going to be super chill and super zen. And by the end of the week, you're going to be like, let's go. And then boom, something unexpected happens. It's not going to be traumatic or scary or anything like that. It's just going to be a sense that the practical details don't come together. So maybe you talk to a bunch of friends and you're like, let's go do something. And then in the end, nobody ends up wanting to do, like, go to the movie or whatever it is. You may find yourself alone in how like inspired and jazzed you are. And you might find that people around you are like, they're just not there yet. So if everybody cancels on plans and you had something that you wanted to do, go do it anyway. You'll have a blast. If you don't get sick or something like that, if it's just a matter of people canceling on you, still go do the thing because you'll definitely enjoy yourself. Capricorn, sun and rising. This week when Mercury joins Neptune, there's going to be an energy of unclear communication. Mercury joining Neptune can activate our intuition, but it also brings an energy of fogginess and confusion. And that's going to be in your 3rd house of communication and social connections. So there's going to be a sense that there's unclear communication. Maybe you're trying to make plans and somebody's just not calling you back. Or maybe somebody sends you a text and it doesn't make any sense. Or maybe somebody asks you to do something, but they weren't clear on their directions. So prepare to be frustrated this week when it comes to the quality and the clarity of communication between yourself and other people. When in doubt, ask for clarification. Double check. Be like, okay, I think I heard you say this. Was that what you meant? Or, okay, this is the grocery list. Is there anything else that you might need from the store? Ask for clarification. Things are going to be unclear, and it's going to cause a lot of frustration for you. Towards the end of the week, Mercury is going to move out of your third house and into your fourth house, meaning that there might actually be an energy of fighting or arguing within your home. Mercury in Aries is fiery, it's impulsive, it speaks without thinking, and when it's in your fourth house, that could be, excuse me, your literal home, or it could be your emotional health. So there's two ways that this could kind of play out. One way is that you get really, really tired of unclear communication and you have a fiery moment of being like, blah! Why can't anybody just speak the truth? Or why couldn't you just be upfront and honest? You could definitely lose your temper this week, especially with those that are closest to you. Close friends, your family, your partner, something along those lines. So if you find that there's like a fire building inside of you this week, one of the best ways that you could deal with it is either cleaning, like it's a Virgo thing, stress cleaning, or get some physical activity. Go for a walk, go for a run, go do kickboxing, something like that. But being able to physically move your body will help you channel those emotions out of you so that you don't explode on anyone. There is a risk of you exploding this week, so just try and plan around that, and focus on reducing your stress. The Mars square Uranus challenging angle happening on Saturday is going to activate your second and your fifth houses. So Mars in your second house is going to be an energy of you wanting to do something or manifest something. But the square of Uranus being in your fifth house means that there's going to be some sort of change when it comes to either you having free time or something involving your kids if you have kids. So maybe you have plans to like do something or make something, and then all of a sudden none of your kids want to do it with you. Or maybe you're like, okay, this is going to be the day that I have a yard sale, and in the end you have to work that day and you don't have the time to do it. So you're going to want to, yeah, if you have any, like if you meditate, if you have any stress reducing activities, if you have any practices that you can implement this week, prepare to be frustrated, prepare to just be like, oh my freaking God. And if you can be prepared, you'll be able to manage your emotions in a healthy way. There's going to be a sense of just stuff not working out, people bailing on you, communication not being clear. I'd like to be able to say it's not you, it's them. But when we are kind of at the mercy of other people's behavior, we have to make sure that we have our own self-care practices. So do whatever you can to keep your inner peace as best you can. Good luck out there. Aquarius, sun and rising. This week when Mercury joins Neptune at the very last degrees of Pisces, you may be tempted to engage in retail therapy. It's going to be in your second house of money and resources. And in that position, Mercury conjunct Neptune brings fogginess and a lack of clarity. So you could be drunk and order a bunch of stuff on Amazon, and the next day or a couple days later be like, what's all this stuff coming in the mail? I don't even remember ordering it. Or you could be inspired to buy something that you've wanted to buy for a while, like a vehicle or a home or something like that. But the details of the purchase are not going to be clear. And it's going to be because either you're not clear or the terms of the contract or the terms of the purchase are not clear. Be really, really, really careful with how you spend money this week. There's a very high chance that you're either going to be ripped off, deceived, or have regret. You're either going to regret it or you're going to be ripped off. There's going to be something along those lines. So be really, really careful. A fool and his money are soon parted is the phrase that just popped into my head. So be smart, be wise. and ask lots of questions if you're making any kind of a big purchase. And if you're making any kind of a big purchase, avoid Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On those 3 days, there's going to be a complete lack of clarity. So if you need an outside opinion to read over a contract or read over whatever it is you're thinking about doing, get an outside opinion, get a professional opinion if you can. And don't take people's words for it. There's a sense that you might be deceived. There's a sense that someone might be intentionally unclear or manipulative. So be careful with your money. When Mercury moves into Aries at the end of the week, it's going to move from your second house of spending to your third house of communication. And Mercury in Aries is feisty, it's spicy, and does not necessarily have a filter. So if for any reason you make a bad purchase at the beginning of the week, you're going to be like on the phone to customer service towards the end of the week, and you're going to be spitting mad. So there's a couple of ways that your week could possibly play out, but there's definitely a risk of spending money in a way that you either didn't intend to or didn't realize what you're getting into. And there's a high probability of arguments towards the end of the week. When Mercury in Aries is activating your third house of communication and social network, you might be the one with no filter. You might be the one who, your anger just comes out of you and you just say things without thinking. So be really, really careful in all that you say and do this week. At the end of the week, at the same time Mercury moves into Aries, and it's all feisty in here, Mars in your first house is going to form a square to your fourth house. And what that means is that you're going to be in this energy of wanting to either stand up for yourself or advocate for yourself. You're going to be very, very expressive and very, very motivated. But it's going to come at the risk of you being ungrounded or emotionally discombobulated. So think before you speak. Pause before you react. Train yourself to take like 3 deep breaths if you're super, super mad about something, because your sign in particular has a very high probability of kind of going off the rails this week, being impulsive, being restless, and then getting really, really mad about it at the end of the week if you do make a foolish decision. Or if somebody else spends your money, you might yell at them at the end of the week. So something along those lines. Be prepared to be a little extra this week and plan accordingly. Good luck. And Pisces sun and rising. This week when Mercury joins Neptune, it is going to be in your sign. Neptune is your home planet. You're going to get the most incredible intuitive downloads, but you might not be very fond of being in this third dimensional reality. You might be just having the best meditation sessions, some incredible technicolor dreams. You might be creative, you might be dreamy and inspired, but you're definitely not going to want to go to work. So prepare to, if there's any ways in which you like psych yourself up and get yourself excited about things you don't necessarily want to do, be prepared, because you're going to be dragging your feet, especially in the first half of this week. Now, at the second half of the week, when Mercury moves out of your sign and moves into Aries, there's going to be a sense that you're like, oh my God, I need to make money. I need to clean my house. I need to take care of details. I need to actually like come back to earth for a minute and take care of some really important stuff, either taking care of things you value or just going through some practical responsibilities. So just kind of keep that in mind. If there's something really focused and really detailed that you need to do, see what you can do to push it at the end of the week, because the beginning of the week, you're going to just be like, whatever, and not in that right headspace. And then as Mercury moves into Aries and you get that like return to earth feeling towards the end of the week, Mars in your 12th house of dreams and intuition is going to form a square to your third house of communication and social connections. So there's going to be a sense that you want to take action. You want to go back to meditating or creating or whatever it is. But there's going to be some sort of change in either what's expected of you or what you've committed to. So you might have made plans at some point to either work for someone or do something social with someone, and Saturday's going to come and you are not going to want to do it, but there's going to be a sense that you kind of have to. So be careful what you commit to. You might not want to follow through towards the end of the week. You will have the energy to like get stuff done, but you're going to be picky about what you want to put your energy into. And if somebody else tells you what you're supposed to put your energy into, even if you know you're supposed to, you might have a whole F you kind of response. So it's going to be like, you can't tell me what to do. As much as you can have personal control and creative control this week, that would benefit you very, very much. All right, well, that's what I've got for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Erin, I'm Queen Bee Tarot, and you can always book a private reading with me at www.queenbeetarot.net. Mwah! Have an amazing week. I'll see you next time.